Okay, today we're going to start 5.3a, which is our final form of the equation of a line. It is called the point slope form. And before we get into it, you should pause and see if you can write down the standard form and the slope-intercept form because it's important for you to know them and recognize them. So, standard form is ax plus by equals c. And over here on the side, I want you to write use intercepts because that's how you want to graph it when you see it like that. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And what I want you to write down here is 1, write 0b because that's your y-intercept, and 2, write m because that's the order in which you graph it. Okay, so today we're talking about the final one, which is the point slope form of the equation of a line. And this one I think is easy because it's generated from the slope formula that we've already talked about. And if you want to see exactly where it comes from, I'll be happy to show you. It is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So we are going to use this, and as it says in this little note that I have right here, when you're writing the point slope form of a line's equation, you will never substitute numbers for x and y. You will substitute in, okay, so I'm going to highlight it. The things that you're going to substitute in is a number right here, a number right here, and a number right here. So that's what it's saying, is that this y and x will always be in your equation because that's what is going to actually distinguish that it is a line. Okay, so the kinds of problems that you're going to practice tonight. First, write the point slope form and the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line with a slope of 6 that passes through the points to -5. Okay, so slope of 6, hopefully you realize that's your m, and this is your x sub 1 comma y sub 1. So that's how you're going to plug it into the equation. So my my point slope form is going to be y minus y sub 1, we always use parentheses with a negative, equals m, which is 6, times x minus x sub 1, which is 2. Now you don't want to leave your answer like that because it's not really in simplified form. So we would say y plus 5 is equal to 6 times x minus 2. So recognize that this is, okay, there's my y sub 1 that I plugged in, that's my slope, and that's my x sub 1. But that would be the way you would put your answer. Now, the next thing it says is you also need to put it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to distribute on the right side. So y plus 5 equals 6x minus 12. Remember that slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. So that means I got to get y all by itself. So we distributed the 6 through, and then I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides, and I will have y equals 6x minus 17. So there you have it. All right, so that's our slope-intercept form, and our point slope is like that. Okay, so let's do another example. The difference between these two examples is that this one gave you the slope, and this one actually only gives you 2 points. But hopefully you know that whenever we have 2 points, we can always find that equation. We can find the slope if we have just 2 points. Okay, and we've talked about this before. We have our y values that are on top, and we have our x values that are on bottom. So our slope is going to be m equals, take those y values, it does not matter which one I start with. So if I start with -1 minus -6, but whichever one I start with here has to be the same one underneath here. So this would be -2 because that's the x value, minus a negative 1. So that simplifies to 5 on top and negative 1 on bottom. We don't leave it like that. Okay, a lot of y'all have been doing that lately. You need to make sure that you simplify it so that becomes negative 5. So now, when I go do part A, which is in point slope form, okay, you can choose either point. So your answer would be, we have y minus y sub 1, which again you can choose either y coordinate. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Always want to put parentheses around that, your negative numbers, when you plug in. So when you simplify, that becomes y plus 1 equals negative 5 times x plus 2. Okay, so you have that. And what if we, let's do this. What if I chose the other point? Okay, so that's one answer. The other answer could be y minus negative 6 equals negative 5 times x minus negative 1. And that would become y plus 6 equals negative 5 times x plus 1. Okay, either one of those is an acceptable answer. They don't look the same, but notice that in the second part, okay, part B, I have to put it in slope-intercept form. So if I continue this one in slope-intercept form, y plus 1, remember that means I'm going to distribute, negative 5x minus 10. And so I subtract 1 from both sides here, and that's going to give me y equals negative 5x minus 11. So that would be my slope-intercept form for that equation. All right, let's do this one. Y plus 6 equals negative 5x minus 5. Subtract 6 from both sides. And if you haven't seen already, y equals negative 5x minus 11. So you get the same thing, okay? Slope-intercept form, all right, these are the same. Doesn't matter what our point slope started with, okay? Because I can choose any point to go through. So it's important to know that there are lots of different answers for point slope, but it's still nice because we know a point and we know the slope. But your slope-intercept form will always look the same, okay? So the last thing before I stop is just to review all the different forms of lines that we have done, okay? The form of ax plus by equals c is called our standard form, and that's the one that you graph using your intercepts that we talk about. I'll come back and write that. Graph an equation. This form is a horizontal line, so a horizontal line is y equals b. Then you would have a vertical line. A vertical line is going to be x equals a. Graph equations in this form using y-intercept b and slope m. So that, of course, is y equals mx plus b. And then the last one that we just talked about today is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Okay? They do have, some of them have names. This, of course, is our standard form. The horizontal and vertical lines don't have any special names. This one is your slope-intercept form. And the last one, as we talked about today, is your point slope form. All of them have different uses at different times, and they're good to know and be familiar with. So if you have any questions or want to see the derivation of that, please come see me. Let me know.